Sure. Can I just ask you a couple of the diplomatic aspects of the situation in Gaza? One being China. China has had the foreign ministers of the,
Side conversation going on over here. Go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm fully focusing.
Yeah, I'm fully focused as well.
The Palestinian Authority and a number of Arab countries, the foreign ministers have gone to China, had some talks. How does the United States see this? I mean, some of the narrative is that China's trying to seal that, maybe that's the right metaphor, but trying to take the role of the United States in some ways in the Middle East. Does the United States see this as productive potentially? Does it see it as a threat diplomatically? What does the United States see?
I'll say two things about that. One, we would welcome China playing a constructive role in the Middle East. The Secretary has made this clear personally in his conversations with Wang Yi. I called Wang Yi on our first trip to the Middle East and said if there's anything they can do to prevent the conflict from widening in terms of using the lines of communications that they have available to countries in the Middle East, we would welcome that. He followed up on that conversation with Wang Yi is here, and they had a very productive conversation about it. To the larger question, though, I would say one of the things that we heard repeatedly from every party with which we engaged on our last trip was the indispensability of the United States in every aspect of this conflict, whether it comes from getting humanitarian assistance in, whether it comes to preventing the conflict from widening. As I've said from this podium before, it is the United States, not any other country, that was able to negotiate an agreement to begin delivering humanitarian assistance in. It was the United States that was able to push for and achieve humanitarian pauses so civilians could move around Gaza more safely than they could before. It is the United States that's the largest humanitarian donor to the Palestinian people. So we always welcome any other countries that can play productive diplomatic roles. But the thing we hear from partners over and over again in the region is there is no substitute for U.S. leadership, and it's why the Secretary and the President and other members of the administration continue to stay engaged on this and will continue to stay engaged on it.
Just to play devil's advocate, obviously some of these countries would argue that the U.S. is, clearly supporting Israel. Is there any sense that, is there any concern that perhaps another country could, such as China, could step into the U.S. role just because the United States is seen as their perception?
No, I think there are productive roles for a number of countries to play, and we would welcome them. There are unproductive roles that countries can play as well, but we are confident in the diplomatic efforts that we have launched. We are confident in the conversations that we continue to have. This is a difficult problem that the region is grappling with. It is obviously first and foremost a problem that Israel is grappling with when it comes to trying to defeat Hamas. But the broader issue of preventing the conflict from spreading and ultimately achieving what the United States supports, what other countries in the region and what other countries across the world support, which is at the end of this, the establishment of an independent Palestinian state. That's something that's going to take engagement from a number of countries. The United States expects to play a leadership role. We expect to be engaged. You've already seen the Secretary lay out principles that we think are important for the path forward at the end of this conflict. And we would expect other countries to play productive roles as well.
Sure. Just one more.